everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle and this is Danielle's Books. Thanks for stopping by. This is going to be my January TBR. I'm so excited for a fresh start, a new year. I just can't wait, and I'm hoping for just like bigger and better this year. I have a lot of lofty goals. I'm planning to do a 2025 goals video, so if that's not up before this, you can expect to see that because I've got some great goals that I'm hoping to achieve this year. Also, fair warning, I have been sick for like 3 weeks straight, which is why Vlogmas ended up kind of abruptly stopping. My entire family has been sick for like 3 weeks. We're finally starting to feel a little bit better. I know my husband, Zach, has uploaded a couple videos. His stuff is always linked down below. And he was like, you know, sniffling and coughing and stuff. That was like a nightmare to edit. But yeah, we're finally trying to get out of the groove. Hopefully I don't sound sick still because it's all just like congested right in here. But anyway, too much information. Let's get into the January TBR. Actually, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I would love to have you. And comment down below the books that are on your TBR because I would love to know. And also, I'm going to be doing a couple picks from my like little jar. I did a whole video where like a TBR jar picked what I read. I'm hoping to do that more this year, but I'm also hoping to like let the TBR jar influence some books in my actual TBRs. So I'm probably going to pick like 3. I have a stack of books next to me that I'm hoping to fit into this TBR. So now without further ado, let's get started. I will do my 3 picks here, and then whatever doesn't make it onto the TBR, I will just talk about at the end. So first up, I want to try and make this year, it's a pink one. Like, I don't want to put too many things on my TBR because then it like makes me very anxious and I feel like I'm like letting you down when I don't read my TBR. But so I'm going to try and keep them smaller, which is why I'm only doing 3 pulls from the actual jar. All right, here we go. Is that upside down? Yeah, it is. 5-star prediction. It says 5-star pre, but 5-star prediction. Okay, that can definitely be taken from over here. The first book I'm going to talk about is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. I guess I'll give you a little spoiler to one of my goals. I really want to continue in some series that I've started that I have really enjoyed. And one of them is, what is this series even called? I feel like a fraud now that I don't know the name of the series. But it's this, like, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe is the first one. I think the 4th or 5th one is coming out later this year. Something about a strawberry patch. I'm not totally sure. I'm anticipating that book as well. But this one is the second book in the series, and I definitely want to continue. I loved the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I'm a huge Gilmore Girl fan, and you can tell that that show was like heavily inspirational to the book, and I'm excited to keep going. So this is definitely on my TBR. I'm assuming this just follows another couple like from the first book. And yeah, this is a romance, which is kind of out of the box for me, but I really want to step out of the box a little bit more this year. I really want to get into more like lit fic because I have a lot on my physical TBR, and that's another goal. Step out of the box a little bit more. You don't always need to read thrillers and horror. So first book on the TBR and fulfilling 5-star prediction is, I'm going to actually put this in here as a bookmark, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. Next up, just following right along, we'll make another one. And that was actually one of the books I wanted to fit on this TBR, so that worked out quite perfectly. All right, let's see. All right, we have an orange one. I'll show you first if I can hold it the right way. All right, this one is, ooh, a Zach choice. Okay. I'm basically going to give him the, you know, I actually know what book he's going to choose, but I will let him pick it like for real. So I'm going to cut and then I'll have him come in and choose the book I'm going to read. But really, we know what it is. So you'll just have to wait and see. That'll probably be towards the end of the video. We'll come back and he can choose the book because I want to continue on. All right, and the last pick is going to be, I have a lot of like different people choosing books. Funny that Zach got to be one of them. I have like my sister, my mom, my Maverick, my baby. All right, last one, 24 and 24. Okay, so this one I'm actually going to take out and I'll just like change this to 25 and 2025 pick because I do have a 25 and 2025 list. I'm actually doing it a little bit different this year. I haven't done a video on it because I wasn't sure if I was like too late to do it, but I'm switching things up. If you didn't know, 2024 was the year that we like purged our physical TBR by like quite a bit. Like 70% of the books we sold, gave away, got rid of in some capacity, and we kept pretty much like the Stephen King collection, which that'll never be sold. At least like he got rid of actually a large chunk of it. Like he pretty much only has the hardcovers and like a couple like paperbacks that are just like the most special. And then the books that we held onto were a lot of the like indie horror books that I read, mainly because if you didn't know, I work at a library. I feel like this always comes up in every video. I work at a library, so it's very easy for me to get access to all of the books, and I can even get like books from not even at my library, and it's just very easy for me to find a way to get a book. So I don't need to own all of these books, but like indie books, especially like the indie horror that I read, not as simple to get from the library. So those ones we held on to, and then mainly like the horror books, we purged almost all of the thriller books. We just kept like our all-time favorites because like you can find almost every thriller book within the library system. So we did a big purge, and my 25 and 2025 list is basically from our physical TBR, which I always do, and I always do backlist books, but this time it's going to be novellas because I own quite a few horror novellas. It's my favorite like form of reading material, I guess. I do love my thrillers. I do love just like regular horror, but I love a horror novella. A lot of those books tend to be like all-time favorites for me. And so with that being said, my 25 and 2025, let's see here. I'm going to have to throw a cover on the screen because I don't have it in front of me. Oh, wait, yes, I do. Or no, I don't. That one's not on it. Okay. One of the ones on the list that I want to prioritize is I Found Puppets Living in My Apartment Walls. I'll put the cover here. We do own a copy of this, and my library actually owns a copy of it too. That's definitely on my 25 and 2025 list, and my husband has read like that whole series and has rated them all very highly. So that is definitely a series I want to get into, and that one is definitely a top pick. So that fulfills this prompt. Again, we'll have Zach come in later. Now let's get into the rest of my TBR that didn't get picked by those three. So first up, I want to do a winter reading vlog to kickstart the year. I have done this, I did this last year, and I quite enjoyed it, and I want to do it again. A couple of the books I have in mind for that video, these aren't like guarantees, but like these are just a couple options. I want to keep a couple like a secret. So the first one I have is Cold Snap by Lindy Ryan. I actually haven't heard like the best reviews for this book, but I don't really want to let that stop me from reading it. This one says, 2 weeks ago, Christine Sinclair's husband slipped off the roof while hanging Christmas lights and fell to his death on the front lawn. Desperate to escape her guilt and her grief, Christine packs up her 15-year-old son and the family cat and flees to the cabin they'd reserved deep in the remote Pennsylvania wilds to wait out the holidays. And it isn't long before Christine begins to hear strange noises coming from the forest when she spots a horned figure watching from between frozen branches. Christine assumes it's just a forest animal, a moose maybe, since the property manager warned her about them, since they'd stomp a body so deep into the snow, nobody find it till spring. But moose don't walk upright like the shadowy figure does, and they don't call Christine's name with her dead husband's voice. So this one sounds pretty good. I actually didn't know this was like Christmassy as well. That like kind of turns me off. I clearly like didn't like fully read the synopsis for this, but this is one that is a maybe for that vlog. And then another one that I really, really want to prioritize for that one is Guess by Keelan Patrick Burke. I have read Keelan Patrick Burke and enjoyed Keelan Patrick Burke. This one just seems like it's going to be kind of like, I'll just read a little bit at the back. After the death of the woman who raised him and the realization that the girl he loves will never love him back, young Mark Callahan decides it's time to leave the small harbor town of Miriam's Cove for good. All that remains is one last shift at the hotel, a seaside resort that has seen better days. Tonight, with a ferocious winter storm bearing down on them, there are few staff and fewer guests until a last-minute booking takes everyone by surprise. There's a small yellow tour bus bound for the Windcrest, and soon the hotel will find itself under siege by something much worse than the snow. This one just sounds like the perfect winter book. I love like a locked room story, and that kind of sounds like what this one might be, like a little bit. So this is definitely one I want to prioritize for that vlog. Next up, we're going to talk about a newer horror book. This one came out in December. I actually still have like my hold slip and like the new sticker on it. This is Havoc by Christopher Bolin. I actually have the audiobook for this through Libro FM, and this one I've heard really great reviews for. And this one says, a propulsive, wicked, addictively readable breakout. Havoc is brilliant, twisty, psychological suspense that will get under your skin like the most unforgettable Hitchcock classics. I will say that doesn't really give me anything, but also this book is very, very short, so I don't really want to know too much, but it looks like it's potentially set at like a hotel, which I love a book that is set at a hotel horror, that sort of thing. That's kind of like my jam. So I'm excited to give this one a try. And if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts on them because I would love to know. And then the last one I am going to put on the list, and then we'll have Zach choose my other book, which I think is the other one that I had planned down here, but we'll see. This one is Fang Fiction by Kate Stayman London. So if you didn't know, I love a vampire story. This one I haven't really looked into any reviews for, nor have I heard anyone talk about it by like videos I've watched. But this one took forever for me to get my hold in at the library, so hopefully that's a good sign. But this one says, the world of your favorite fantasy novels is real, and you're invited to visit. The only catch, it's filled with thirsty vampires. Like, what more do I want in a book? I just love a vampire story, and I wish I got to this one like a little bit more like in the fall, but again, like my hold took forever to get in. So I'm hoping to read this one and give it a chance because I just like need a vampire book. I haven't read one since I read Bride by Allie Hazelwood, which was a wild, like, that was definitely a little bit out of the box for me, but I actually enjoyed the book. So this is the next book on the January TBR. Now, we will stop here, but for you, it'll be like in 1 second, and we'll have Zach come in and choose my last book, assuming that I know what it is, and then I'll tell you the reason why it's going to be on my TBR. So see you in 1 second. All right, we are back, and Zach is not going to come on camera just because he's dealing with Maverick and it's like lunchtime. So I tried to get him away, but I could not. But the book that he picked for us is Misery by Stephen King. What a surprise. So this one actually fulfills a 2025 reading goal, which is one reason why I want to read it. 2, a winter read. You know, it could fit in the vlog that I'm talking about potentially. And 3, this actually fulfills 2 different 2025 goals, and I don't want to spoil them all in this video, but I do want to potentially participate in Winterween this month, and this fulfills like 3 of the prompts, I'm pretty sure. Like, it has the house on the cover, it's a winter setting, it's published like more than 5 years ago, I think, is one of the prompts. Read it in the dark, I can easily do that. I can listen to it in the dark. The only one that this doesn't fulfill is like a novella, but like, hello, I just talked about like 2 different novellas. So I could probably complete Winterween with just a couple books. And so this one is going on the TBR thanks to Zach. And this one says, or Paul Sheldon used to write for a living. Now he's writing to stay alive. Misery is dead. Paul Sheldon has just killed her with relief, with joy. Misery made him rich. She is the heroine of a string of bestsellers, and now he wants to get on to some real writing. That's when the car accident happens, and he wakes up splinted and in pain, and in the remote mountain home of his rescuer, Annie Wilkes. The good news is that Annie was a nurse and has pain-killing drugs. The bad news is that she has long been Paul's #1 fan, and when she finds out what Paul has done to Misery, she doesn't like it. She doesn't like it at all. So this is on the TBR officially, which makes me a little bit nervous. I've only read one Stephen King? No, I've read a few. I've read The Shining, Carrie, and The Long Walk. I believe those are the only 3 that I've read. I don't know. I tried to read Joyland too, but that didn't last very long. But anyway, this is the next book on the TBR, and actually the last book on the TBR, and this one fulfills the Zach choice. So we will put that in here, and hopefully we can get this one read, because I would love to get to it. So that is officially the January TBR. Again, let me know what you're reading this month to start the year, or in January. I don't know when this video is going up, because I would love to know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because I would love to have you. Give this video a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. And check out the links down below. I'll have all of these books linked down below, and everything else will be linked down there. So with that, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, and bye!